CEO 2023 happened this past weekend, and it not only defied expectations, but it also made history within the Smash community and for multiple of its players. Today we'll be going over the top 8 of the game-changing CEO 2023 and talking about all the ways it defied our expectations. Real quick, just a reminder that I'll be going live on this channel at 2 PM CST playing Smash. I'd love to see you stop by. Today we're jumping right into business, starting with our 7th place finishers ESAM and Beast Mode Paul. We've talked about Beast Mode Paul fairly recently on the channel before, so let's start with ESAM first. ESAM came into the event as the 17th seed, the first of 3 top 8 finishers who were outside of the top 8 seeds. ESAM, say it with me folks, started off the weekend by sweeping his pool without dropping a game, before moving on into top 96, where he got 2 very impressive wins, a 3-1 over MPG and a Game 5 nail-biter win versus TM7 Zap, someone we're definitely going to be talking about later on. ESAM then went up in winners quarterfinals, the top 8 qualifier, against Riku, someone that we'll go into more later. For now, ESAM and Riku threw down to see who would make top 8.
TNT at the ledge, she tries to mix up the direction.
No!
And that's going to be it.
That's the finish. That's the end of it. You see the rush to the stage, the modern players coming in and saying, this is our boy. Look at the emotion on Riku's face as he makes his first top 8 at CEO. This is what it's about, Dara.
Unfortunately for ESAM, Riku won the set in a close Game 5, with ESAM dropping down into losers, where he defeated Chunky Kong, one of our top 8 finishers from MomoCon 2023, in a 3-1 set, to make losers side top 8. Now here, ESAM had to go up against Riddles, who, yes, was in losers this early. Trust me, we're gonna get to that in a minute. But right now, we have a set to see, and it definitely didn't disappoint.
Resources gets back onto the stage, man, recovering both players. Oh no, there is! He whiffed the up B! Oh no! He whiffed it there! He needed that! He needed that so badly! Now we're going for a down tilt, trying to get a ledge trap position, anything, some jab lock situation. Thunderjolt coming back in, slowing it down, dash attack, pushes him off stage.
Honestly, he does not want him getting access to Go Meter right now because the power gouge is going to be so good. He goes for the jabs, none happens. ESAM backs up, tries to get him in, he misses the rising down, he missed the punish! Are you kidding me? He's still alive! He's still alive! ESAM sitting at 156. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? What did it press? No, they don't even know! They literally don't even know how that ended!
ESAM lost in Game 5 to Riddles, being eliminated at 7th. You know, for someone we haven't talked about on the channel before, ESAM is steadily improving after switching to a box controller instead of the usual GameCube controller. Maybe ESAM is starting to get used to it, and if he is, then we may have to start getting used to seeing Pikachu in a lot more top 8s. Now for our 7th place finisher, Beast Mode Paul. We talked about Beast Mode Paul in our Gateway Legends 2023 video, where Paul finished 5th and notably defeated Mudace during their run to that placement. Here at CEO, Paul started off the weekend by making it through pools, only dropping 1 game to Gatsby on the way into top 96. Beast Mode Paul then defeated Hungrybox, who got 33rd by the way, before they suffered their first loss against Yara, a name we'll be hearing a lot in this video, in a 3-0 loss. In top 24, Paul then defeated both Sen 3-0 and Regular 3-1, who you might know as the Lucas main who went on a crazy run at the last Super Smash Con. It was here that Beast Mode Paul had to go up against Almighty, otherwise known as Jake, to make the loser's side top 8.
Down on the flag, gonna get caught with it and gonna get caught with the fair, but that is not enough yet. 150%. Tries to go with the Flame Slash to try to edge guard, but the back air Dara, that closes it. And you see Beast Mode Paul so excited, family in the crowd, and Almighty not thrilled. Not thrilled to say the least.
Beast Mode Paul 3-0'd Almighty, and if you're wondering why Almighty opted to go Bowser here instead of their main, Steve, I'd wager it's likely because Hero is supposed to be one of Steve's worst matchups, while Bowser is supposed to be one of Hero's worst. That didn't stop Paul from moving on into Loser's Top 8, however, where they went up against MVD in Loser's 8ths. In a Game 5 nail-biter set, Beast Mode Paul lost to MVD Game 5, being eliminated at 7th. Beast Mode Paul has had a glow-up recently, with their Gateway Legends placement being their first step, and this past weekend Paul proved that their placement wasn't a fluke, making top 8 at a much more important event. And Paul is only going to go up from here. Now we get to our 5th place finishers, Apollo Kage and Riku. We've been talking about Apollo Kage a lot on this channel recently, so let's start with Riku. Riku is a name you guys might not recognize, but it's a name that I sure recognize, and longtime fans of the channel should recognize as well, as Riku was the first player that I ever covered in one of my Smash Analytical videos, my Let's Make Big Moves 2023 video. Starting off, Riku was the Steve main who made an insane run at a major despite not really being known by the mass Smash community before said run at Let's Make Big Moves, and boy did Riku get people talking. Some doubted whether or not we'd ever see Riku make a placement as good as that again, but Riku definitely showed up this weekend, ready to improve on his peak and achieve his dreams. Now, I know what a lot of you are likely already thinking, and that's Steve. I'm going to give my thoughts on that and the outrage on Steve surrounding this tournament at the end of this segment, but for right now, I want to just go over Riku's accomplishments, not as a Steve player, but as a Smash player. Riku started the weekend making it through pools, only dropping 2 games total on his way to top 96, where Riku then got 2 impressive wins in a row, defeating Goblin 3-1 and MVD 3-0 to make top 24. Remember this win against MVD, however, it'll be important later. For now, Riku defeated Esam in winners quarterfinals like we discussed earlier, making it to top 8 winners side, where Riku had to go up against Yara.
He avoided that charge shot just by standing and ducking wherever he wanted to do. And now we're getting back into this, pushes him back off stage, 122 damage, gets up with the down smash one more time. Yara shutting down any sort of approach coming out from Riku. Is going to find himself a one-way ticket into winners.
Unfortunately for Riku, he lost to Yara 3-1, being knocked down into losers by the invading Japanese Samus. Riku is now in losers quarterfinals, where he would have to fight MVD, hot off of winning a Game 5 set with Beast Mode Paul like we discussed. This runback would be quite the reverse of their earlier set, however. In an amazing adaptation from MVD, MVD swept Riku 3-0, eliminating Riku at 5th. Now, if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'd like to give my 2 cents on Steve. I'm going to keep this very brief for the sake of time, but I actually have a lot to say, and my opinion on Steve has changed since my last video on the topic, so let me know if I should make a video purely about Steve, and by extension, all of Fighters Pass 2. So let me start off by saying I have no idea why people were upset about Steve at CEO. There was only one Steve in the top 8, and even then they only got 5th, not 2nd or 1st or anything. So I honestly have a hard time seeing why people are even riled up about this to begin with. I think a lot of this probably stems from Aaron's Salt tweet about Steve after their loss to Almighty, but other than that, I don't think any of the top players who attended CEO really complained about Steve. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say Aaron did anything wrong by complaining about Steve, the best character in the game. And I'm not even trying to say that Steve should or shouldn't be banned. That's not what this is about. I'm just saying that I think a lot of the outrage over Steve at CEO was bandwagoned off of this tweet and not off of the actual tournament itself. But Rister, you might say, Riku got top 8 when they shouldn't have because of Steve. I've always hated this kind of argument because of how disrespectful it is. I could say a lot about it. Again, let me know if you want me to make that video. But the bottom line here is that Riku worked hard to achieve top 8, and getting top 8 is hard no matter what character you pick. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, but if you think Steve is an instant win button, and that literally anyone could just pick up Steve and make top 8 at an event like this without having any real skill or having to put in any real practice, then I think you're ignorant over how hard both the game and tournaments themselves actually are. Now we move on to our other 5th place finisher, Apollo Kage. We've talked about AK a lot recently, and it seems like we're going to keep talking about AK for a while. Apollo Kage started off the weekend as the 3rd seed, and started off by making it through pools, only dropping 1 game in the process. In top 96, AK defeated Sen 3-0 and Chunky Kong 3-1 in order to make top 24. Here, Apollo Kage defeated fellow Snake Main Grape in a 3-0, where AK actually went Mario in game 3 and won. Now in top 8 winners side, Apollo Kage went up against Dabuz in winners semifinals. Unfortunately for AK, he lost 3-1 to Dabuz, dropping down into losers' quarters against Riddles.
Especially with that go meter activate. Oh no, there it is! Down tilt into Busta Wolf! Riddles taking it 3-1 and it's gonna move on into loser semis.
Finishing that with a 3-stock finish on that last game.
Apollo Kage would lose to Riddles 3-1 for a placement of 5th. Now we get our 4th place finisher, MVD. MVD came into the event as the 8th seed and started off the weekend by sweeping pools without dropping a game, making it in top 96, where MVD then proceeded to get one more 3-0 against Sure Hyper, before MVD lost 3-0 to Riku in top 96 like we were discussing earlier. MVD had been sent down into losers incredibly early and made quite the losers run for their final placement of 4th. MVD first defeated Kobe 3-1 and then TM7 Zap 3-0 in order to make losers top 8 qualifier, where MVD went up against fellow Snake Main, Grape.
He was stuck at the lead shield. Again, the grenade shield over and over again. Just being caught, called out for swinging. Neutral up tilt again and again. The great equalizer, MVD. Going to be securing a nice, comfortable spot in top 8.
MVD won the set 3-1, which means that yes, Grape the Snake Main was double eliminated by 2 Snake Mains, AK and MVD, for 9th place. Talk about luck of the draw. Now in top 8, MVD had a close Game 5 set against Beast Mode Paul, before then proceeding to 3-0 Riku in the runback. It was here, in losers semifinals, that MVD had to go up against Riddles, his fellow losers bracket demon. In the end, MVD lost the set in a close Game 5, being eliminated 4th. After a long period of disappointing showings, MVD had made their break back into top-level play at DreamHack Dallas 2023, but there was some discussion about whether or not this win had been a fluke. This weekend, MVD proved the haters wrong and made an excellent losers run to an impressive placement yet again. Now we get to our 3rd place finisher, Yara. Yara is the one outlier headed into CEO 2023, as Yara was a player from Japan, one of the only ones attending CEO. They were the wild card going into this weekend, and Yara did not disappoint. Yara came into the event as the 5th seed and started off the weekend by sweeping not only pools, but top 96 without dropping a single game, all culminating in their win over Beast Mode Paul 3-0, like we mentioned in Paul's segment. It was here that Yara dropped their first games of the weekend, but still not losing any sets, defeating Yosefu 3-1 in winners quarters and Riku 3-1 in winners semis. Yara had now made it all the way to winners finals, only dropping 2 games in the process, a steamroll of the bracket. But now Yara had to go up against Dabuz in a match that is probably one of the worst in the entire game, Olimar versus Samus. In the end, Yara lost to Dabuz 3-1, falling down into losers finals, where Yara had to defeat the devil of the losers bracket, Riddles.
Character. Okay, push him off the stage there, the angle. Oh no! No! What? Riddles! What? Handling his business and taking it to grand finals.
Yara was defeated by Riddles in another 3-1, being eliminated at 3rd. Everyone knew Yara was going to do well at this tournament, and they proved us all right. Yara has a good claim to be the best Samus in the world, with Siski and Quick being their competition. Speaking of those two, though, both of them actually fought in a European major, King of Fields 95 number 3. I may or may not be making a video on that tournament very soon. Stay tuned. Now we get to our final 2 finishers, Riddles and Dabuz. It seems we always have a losers bracket demon, but Riddles was a special losers bracket demon, more ferocious than your usual losers run, so let's cover him first. Riddles started off the weekend as the 1st seed and swept his pool without dropping a game, defeating Karu, hi Karu, to make it into top 96. However, it was here, right out of pools, that disaster struck for Riddles, and that disaster's name was TM7 Zap.
God, I'm killing myself!
Riddles lost Game 5 to TM7 Zap, being knocked out into losers immediately after pools. From here, Riddles would have to make an insane losers run to make it to top 8, but make it they did. Riddles first had a close Game 5 set with Fatality, before going on to defeat MPG 3-0, Aaron 3-1, Goblin 3-0, and Yosefu 3-1 in order to make top 8 losers side. Riddles kept going from here though, defeating Esam 3-2, Apollo Kage 3-1, MVD 3-2, and finally Yara 3-2 in order to make it to Grand Finals loser's side. Not only was this the best losers run of the tournament, Riddles had a total of 4 Game 5 nail-biter sets, with 3 of them being in top 8 against high-level and top-level players. Dabuz, unlike Riddles, had a very straightforward path to Grands. Starting the weekend as the 2nd seed, Dabuz made it through pools, only dropping 1 game on his way to top 96. There, Dabuz 3-0'd both Tachyon and Toast to make top 24. Dabuz swept Almighty in a 3-0, in a matchup that Dabuz has proven time and time again to be an expert in. Dabuz then made it into top 8, getting 2 3-1s back-to-back on Apollo Kage in semis and Yara in winners finals, respectively. This means that yes, on his way to Grands, Dabuz was not taken to a Game 5 a single time, and Dabuz's only set that went to a decisive game was his 2-1 victory over Jory, all the way back in pools. Now it was time for Grand Finals. Riddles had activated his Devil Gene to sweep the loser's bracket by the skin of his teeth, and Dabuz had swept his way to Grands demandingly and decisively. But there could only be one winner at the end of the day.
Fighting for his life to get this tournament W, and he's close. Riddles getting away from Luma one more time. Oh, good carry. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh! He's still living, but the demon's gone. And oh my God!
Dabuz wins CEO! Oh! Such elation! Such elation taking down Riddles, who is arguably top 6, 7, 8 in the world to do it. Dabuz wins CEO 2023.
In the end, Dabuz got swept in the first set of Grands before pulling a complete 180 and defeating Riddles 3-1 in the reset, becoming your champion of CEO 2023. This marks the first time that Dabuz has won Grand Finals against another top 15 player since 2019, and had CEO been a major, would have been Dabuz's first major win in Ultimate history. But even though CEO wasn't a major, it was by just barely, nearly missing the amount of points it needed to be counted. However, let's all be honest with ourselves, there isn't really anything actually gatekeeping CEO from being a major other than the arbitrary ranking system. I'm willing to consider CEO a major, and this victory to be Dabuz's big break that we all hoped for. Oh, by the way, shout out to Karu, who lost to Riddles in pools but then made a loser's run to 25th as the 64th seed, and who definitely didn't tell me to say this in this video. That's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. For today, I want you to comment down below whether or not you consider CEO 2023 to be a major or not, and why. Real quick, shout out to my Patreon members Fireskull333 and Seth Laster, and shout out to my YouTube members Stormtrooper and Lokosoka. Just a reminder that I'm going live at 2 p.m. CST today. Come say hi. On Thursday, I will either make a video on King of Fields 95 number 3, the European major that happened this past weekend, or I'll make a video talking about Steve, Fighters Pass 2, and the state of Ultimate as a whole. Less of a tournament recap and more of an opinionated piece. Let me know which you'd like to see first. Until then, I've been Mr. Mice, and thank you all so much for watching.